Hey plant friends, welcome back to the Funky Foliage Shop. I'm your host TJ, and today we are going to talk all about pothos. This week's blog post was all about new plant parents and the 7 best plants for new plant parents. So on that list was actually pothos. Pothos is one of my favorite trailing plants. They are super easy to take care of, super easy to share, and there's so many varieties that you will have so much fun collecting. So pothos, also known as epiprenum, there are several varieties. What we typically think of when we say pothos for a lot of people is the golden pothos. Well, this is a small one. Her name is Little Kim. Golden pothos, epiprenum aureum, also known as devil's ivy. Very, very easy to take care of. Pothos plants in general, most of them can tolerate bright and direct light, but they are also low light tolerant, and they are also very drought tolerant, which means that you can let them dry out in between watering. Okay, so I typically will let my pothos plants pretty much dry completely out with few exceptions, and then give them some water. I kind of look for physical cues with my pothos plants. So this is an example. This is a global green pothos, a variety that is pretty popular right now. And as you can see, you probably can't tell, but because it's my plant, I can kind of tell that it is a little bit droopy. So this is the time in which I would give this plant some water. I also check to see what the weight of the plant is like, in terms of how it felt when I watered it versus the way that it feels when I pick it up. If it is noticeably lighter, I definitely will give it some water. As many of you know, bottom watering is my favorite way to water, and so I bottom water whenever I can, and we will go over bottom watering in a later video, but I did just want to mention that I do prefer bottom watering for the benefits of strong roots, and also because you tend to not have as many plant pests when you bottom water. All right, so you want to give these some light fertilizer during the growing season, so spring, summer, depending on where you are. What you use is up to you. Whatever's in your budget and readily available will do just fine, okay? But this guy back here, his name is Shona. He is a golden pothos that I've had for a few years. And then his best friend over here, his name is Bruce Leroy. Yes, just like the movie. Bruce Leroy and Shona are probably 2 of my oldest pothos. I actually cut them quite often and propagate them quite often and give them away. I've got this one right here. He doesn't have a name, but this is a Pearls and Jade pothos. Pearls and Jade is a variety that is often confused with Enjoy pothos, and I guess I'll do a video about that as well. Enjoy pothos and Pearls and Jade are very similar, but you have to know where to look in their variegation to figure out what's what, okay? This guy back here, who's not going to squeeze out, I've got this is a silver streak pothos, and this one is, I always butcher the name, but epiprenum amplissimum, silver streak, amplissimum. I have this big guy right here. This is a, what are you, baby? You are a Manjula pothos. So I've got one of these big guys like that. And all of these plants will have basically the same care. Some are a little bit more rare than others, and some you can find on the side of the road depending on where you live. This guy right here is Shangri-La. My kids and I call it the frizzled spinach pothos, because as you can see, those leaves there are kind of wrinkly and crinkly and rolled up, but as they mature, they do flatten out. Well, they unroll, but they don't necessarily flatten out. So that is your Shangri-La pothos. This is a little baby Baltic blue pothos. As these get older, they do develop fenestrations. Most pothos do, with the assistance of a moss pole, develop fenestrations, or the holes that you see in those. This right here is an Epiprenum Pinatum Gold Flame. It doesn't have very much variegation. I don't think that I've had it in a sunny enough spot. I think I'm gonna move it, and it's growing really slowly. So this is another one that will fenestrate as well. It is a pinatum just like the Baltic blue. What else do I have? Oh, this is a little baby. This is a little baby silver streak, like this one. I was going to show you all how to propagate, or ways that I have propagated pothos. When I say this is one of the easiest plants ever in life, easy, honey, okay? Easy like Sunday morning. So first things first, with any propagation, you want to make sure that your plant is properly hydrated, because that will reduce shock when you go to transplant it into whatever your propagation medium is. Well, I think I'm going to take a piece off of Mr. Manjula here. Just sit you up here for a second. And basically, you're going to find a good cutting. I guess I'll take this. All right, you want to make sure that you are getting enough root nodes in your cutting. So I just took this one right now, and this one has quite a few nodes. So 1, 2, 3, and 4-ish, right? So easiest thing to do, close your eyes if you are opposed to cutting leaves. I would cut that bottom leaf so that we've got a nice root node there that can go down into, we're going to do just a regular old water propagation. Rarer plants, or plants that are known to kind of melt away when you try to propagate them, neon pothos is one of those for me. I like to let them sit out, maybe just a few hours, let the end callus so that, water doesn't just swoosh up in there and waterlog your cutting. But for the purposes of this, we've got water. This is just regular old tap water. I do like to let my tap water sit out for a while, at least about 24 hours usually, when I'm watering any plants or whatever. If your tap water is good, your tap water is good. If your tap water is not, use something else. It's up to you. And then you just take your cutting and boop, sit it down in there, put it in some good light, and in a couple weeks it will start to root. Once your roots are, I would say, maybe like 2 to 4 inches, and if you really want extra credit, wait until your roots have roots, if that makes sense. So you'll have the main roots, and then those roots will start to develop little fine hair roots along the sides, and that's just some extra insurance. Once your plant is rooted, you can go ahead and plop it into whatever potting medium you're going to use. This is just an all-purpose potting mix, maybe with a little bit of extra perlite. This one I put into, this is a mixture of sphagnum moss and perlite. I love perlite, love it. And you see my fancy container here, okay? We keep it real classy around here. only the finest clear drinking cups will do. All right. So don't be afraid to reuse things. Reduce, reuse, recycle, right? And yeah, so that is pothos propagation, or at least the easiest way to propagate a pothos in a nutshell, okay? There are plenty of pothos varieties available at funkyfoliageshop.com. Please be sure to check out our little online boutique. Shop to your heart's content. New customers, first time order, you get 10% off with promotion code NEW10. And please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Funky Foliage Shop on YouTube, and follow us on social media. Thank you all so much for checking out my video. These videos will get better as the weeks go on. Let us know if there are topics that you'd like to discuss or something you'd like for me to answer. You can leave your questions down in the comments below, or simply email me at tj@funkyfoliageshop.com. Thank you so much. Remember that I love you almost as much as your plants love you, and be kind to yourself most of all.